Chatters, chatties. Welcome home for a Great American Chat, a podcast where we chat about great American media. I'm Chad Maurice, and I have a special guest in the house today, author, baker extraordinaire, the Hutch Oven herself, Emily Hutchinson. Emily, thank you so much for being here.
I'm so glad to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, I've been looking forward to talking with you.
Me too. I've been looking forward to it all week.
Because I'm a terrible baker. So I got to pick your brain on how to improve my baking. Now, you have a show on the Great American Community app called The Sweet Life. But before we talk about that, I want to know, where'd you grow up? Where are you from originally?
Well, I am from a little town called Oso. I don't know if you remember, but years ago we had a landslide. It was the deadliest landslide in American history, and it was in Oso. It was in my hometown. So I live about 15 minutes, I want to say I'm west of Oso now, in Arlington, actually, where it's like the main town. So Arlington is where I live now, but I have family that still lives in Oso, and my mom lives there still. And so Arlington is where I went to school. So when you lived in Oso, you had to go to school you got to go to school in Arlington. And so the same teacher that taught my sisters in English taught my daughter. So it's a really small, not small, it's gotten quite large, but it's such a wonderful community. It's a small town, home feel. It's amazing.
No, wait, what state are you talking?
In Washington, sorry.
Washington.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you never left Washington.
Yeah, I never left Washington.
Oh,
in Arlington.
Okay.
Yeah, Arlington, sorry. It is north of Seattle, about,
okay.
I want to say 50 minutes, just depending on traffic. So, yeah. So it's kind of just like a little gem, away from the city. And yeah.
Well, the Pacific Northwest is beautiful.
It's so beautiful. Yeah. We're lucky right now because we've gotten a lot of sun lately, but we had a really hard winter, and Washington is notorious for so much rain, right? So it was kind of hard for the gardens and everything this year. Everything was a little bit late, but we are normally flooded with water by now in October, and the sun is out right now. You can see out a little bit out my window, but the sun's out. So I'll take it.
So did you do all your schooling in Washington then?
Yes. Yep.
Did you go to college in Washington too?
Actually, funny story. I got accepted to the University of Washington and found out I was pregnant with my daughter in the same week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was a hard deal, but she is 21 now and she's incredible. Well, she turns 21 in a couple of weeks, but she's incredible. She goes to Eastern Washington University, she's on the dean's list. She is just this incredible, brilliant child, but you never know where God's going to take you. So
21. Wow. You two must look like sisters.
Well, I had her when I was 18. So
wow.
I mean, people say that, but yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Now, how did you get into baking?
Well, Chad, it started a long time ago. So it started in Oso, where I grew up. So I actually learned to bake when I was 5 with my grandma. And my grandma, she was this incredible, magical woman. And she was a great baker. And she was also an artist. She was a painter. And she painted beautiful art. You can't see it. It's up. I'm sorry. I shouldn't even have pointed it out. You can't see it. But she taught me to bake, and she was so patient. I mean, she taught me how to measure flour and crack eggs and all the basics, right? And it wasn't like just box cake mixes. We were making pies and breads and cookies, all sorts of stuff. And so I baked so much, Chad, that my family, as I got older, they'd be like, oh, what's Emily bringing for Thanksgiving? And what's Emily bringing for Christmas? Because I was the dessert girl. And so I just held on to that. And my grandma sadly lost her battle with cancer when I was 12. And I still baked, but it wasn't, my baking buddy was gone, and it wasn't this regular thing. It was, like a holiday thing mostly. It wasn't like, a once a week thing.
Hmm.
But so that was really hard. And then more of my story, I'm just going to jump right into it.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I grew into adulthood, and like I had said,
Well, let me interrupt. What about your mom? Was she a baker?
my mom is a great cook. She is not a baker.
Oh, she's not a
So
baker. Okay.
she bakes every now and then, but I still have this memory of her when I was younger. She was rolling out pie dough crust and she could not get it right. And she was so frustrated. She took all the dough and she threw it out the Dutch door. And I make great pie crust. And I probably should give my mom a little bit. Excuse me, let me grab some water.
Yeah.
Probably bring my mom into the kitchen a little bit more, but she really loves to cook. So I have learned a lot from my mom. Excuse me. I have a little tickle in there.
That's all right.
But yeah, so she taught me, I mean, my spaghetti recipe and my lasagna recipe, which everybody loves, is my mom. So she taught me some really amazing stuff as well.
Okay. Now, what were you going to say? You said you were going to jump ahead.
Oh, so I'm just sharing, how I got into how this baking thing really really grew, right? So I grew into adulthood, and I shared, I had Reese, and then I had my son, he's 17, Nick. So I had Reese and Nick in a relationship that ended up not working out. And I met my husband, Mike, and we decided to solidify our family. We had our daughter, Jenny. We were like, okay, 3 kids, perfect. And actually Jenny passed away when she was 2.5.
Yeah, I know.
And it devastated our family, completely broke me. And it was really, really hard. And friends of ours noticed how bad we were struggling, and they invited us to church, and God just met us where we're at, and our life started to change. And I started giving back to the community. I don't know what is wrong with my throat.
It's all right.
I'm on a roll here. Come on. Okay. So we started giving back to the community, and our lives started to change. And Chad, I got back into the kitchen, and like everything that my grandma had taught me just like ignited. Like it was just like a fire.
Really?
And I started making buttercream frosted cookie tutorials online, and they started going viral. And years ago, when no one was doing frosted buttercream cookie videos and teaching people how to do it. So I kind of like bring my grandma into this a lot because she was the artist, and my family would kind of tease me like, oh, Emily can't draw, she can't draw very well. But I picked up a piping bag, and look what happened. It was like the art and everything just like comes out in my work. And so so I started to grow from there, and I started doing TV segments. I published my first book called Creative Cookie Decorating that turned into a bestseller, and people loved it. And it's this beloved book that people still love. And then I wrote a second book as, a sequel to that. But it has been so incredible to see what God has done in my life. And, I feel like I'm able to honor my daughter's memory and her legacy by sharing my story. And I've had so many women reach out and say, I went through this, or I'm struggling with this, or we just lost a family member, and your story, knowing that you got through that, inspired me so much to keep, hold on, just to keep going. And that, eventually, it doesn't ever go away, but you learn to live with it differently.
Right.
And so I think that's such an incredible, powerful thing to be able to offer people encouragement and hope. And that's all that I've ever wanted to do with my platform that I've built. I mean, I have, a bunch of followers that just are like incredible, supportive people that, I'm able to inspire with desserts and, my story. And so it's just so cool what God has done in my life through that terrible tragedy.
Yeah. I read your story on your website, and I got to tell you, I was in tears. And I got to say to you, you are like the strongest woman You are amazing, because I don't think I could have ever gotten through something like that. I mean, you
Yeah, no,
you
it was really hard. It's still
uh
it's hard. She will be 15 this Halloween. She was born on Halloween.
yeah,
And then she died January 15th. And my son
yeah,
Mikey, as you read in my story, probably my son Mikey was born a year and 3 months, wait, a year and 10 days, excuse me, a year and 10 days exactly from after she died. And so we would not have Mikey had that not happen. And so
uh-huh,
it's one of those things where I would give anything to have her back, but I
mm-hmm,
wouldn't trade Mikey. And
mm-hmm,
so that really puts it into perspective for me
mm-hmm,
what God is doing. And I can't say that I'm at complete peace with losing my daughter. It is really hard, but I am at peace with his plan for my
yeah,
life. And
yeah,
so there's kind of, a little bit of the, okay, God, I see, I got you. I get it. I know what you're doing. So, but it took a lot of years to get,
yeah,
I tell you,
yeah.
it wasn't
Now,
easy, my friend.
yeah. Now, besides baking, did you do a little bit of acting too?
I did take acting classes when I was younger, but I haven't been in any movies yet. I mean, I'm just putting it out into the universe. I
Oh,
haven't been
okay.
in any
Okay.
yet,
Okay.
but I did.
Oh, okay. I thought you did a movie. I thought you did a little for short film or something.
Not yet,
No?
but I
Okay.
did judge Christmas Cookie Matchup. I don't know if you
Yes.
seen that, but that
Yes,
was
I know. We're going to talk about that. Yeah.
that was wonderful.
But
Yes.
before we talk about that, I want to talk about this. Here you are with Cameron and Debbie. Home and Family. You were a regular contributor to that show. How did that happen for you?
You know what? It's a funny story. So I had posted a video, and one of the executive producers, Laura Pearson, she found me on Instagram actually years ago, and they were like, you know what? We love your work. I was actually in Safeway, and I don't know why I checked my emails, but I pulled up. I was with my husband, and we were at the deli section, and I opened my phone, and I was like, honey, the Hallmark Channel wants me on the show. I was just like, and I had done live TV since, but that show was just pure magic, and everyone on there was just wonderful. And the first time I went on the show, they let me share about Jenny, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
tell you that just was like the most incredible thing, because and Debbie was so wonderful, and she's become like a sister to me. I mean,
Hmm.
they have become my family. They are really incredible people.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's great. That's great. And now you mentioned the Christmas cookie matchup where you were a judge that was on Hallmark Drama. That was a really fun show. And I was bummed that they didn't do another season of that.
And you and me both, Chad. I was like, this is so lovely. And everybody loved it. We got such a good response from everybody. And I mean, Jack Wagner was the host, and he was just lovely and incredible. And everyone, like, there was so much wonderful stuff it was so lovely to see everyone come together, and they were helping each other out. And then one of the contestants' sleigh fell down, and it was like, oh my gosh. And it was like, you couldn't even make this stuff up. It was like real, like, incredible things that were happening to make this show so great. But the best part is that they were all so encouraging to each other. It wasn't like cutthroat. It was like competition, but like fun and lighthearted. It was
Uh-huh.
really special show.
Yeah.
I still talk to the producers about it. It was such a special show for all of us.
Yeah. And it was fun to see the actors interacting with fans.
Right.
It was
Yes.
fun.
It
Yeah.
was so fun. And then to see them in a setting where they're baking stuff
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
getting creative, it was like, holy cow, I was watching Pascal, pipe, all this stuff with buttercream. And I was like, oh my
Uh-huh.
gosh, like, it was so fun to watch them just, out of their TV roles.
Now, do you think Great American Family would ever do a show like that?
You know what? I would love to see that. So some good things are going to be happening in the future. I can.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I'd like to see that too. I think that would be fun. Now let's talk about your books. What's the difference
Yes.
between these two books? What are they all about?
Oh, yes. Okay. So creative cookie decorating. That is the first one that you see right there. That is my very first book. That is the one that is so beloved by so many people. It really was the first step-by-step guide, recipes, everything to help you learn how to decorate cookies with buttercream. You're mostly seeing the royal icing, right? That you decorate cookies with, but royal icing doesn't always taste that good. Buttercream does. And so people just have loved it. And I actually sprinkled some scripture in there. And so it really is like a piece of my heart. And I got to share about Jenny and the book. And then everyone loved the book so much that we had to do another one. And there's a couple, like I introduced cookie cakes in that one. That's something that I'm working on now. A lot of cookie cakes and just all sorts of cookies. So you might see a 100 different types of cookie book in the future. You never know. Everything is always cookies with me.
Now, wait, buttercream, is that just butter and sugar?
Yes, it is just butter. It's butter and sugar and a little bit of vanilla, but
vanilla. Yeah, that's right.
It's so delicious. And my recipe crusts over a little bit so it doesn't smudge. So you can gently stack the cookies on a dessert table or put them in little clear baggies. So it's just, and it makes the cookie softer. It's just so delicious. It is second to none. The best. Best.
What was the other thing you mentioned? Icing? What was the icing thing you mentioned?
Oh, like royal icing?
Yeah, royal icing. What's royal icing?
People do decorate with royal icing. It's just, I don't know if you've ever had a royal icing cookie.
What is it? What is it? What's it made out of?
It is made out of egg whites and powdered sugar. Sometimes it's made with meringue powder. So there's different ways to make it.
Okay.
I work with it every once in a while, but I just don't love the taste.
Okay.
I love the taste of buttercream. It's just, it's buttercream. So it's what's on cakes and it's just delicious.
Yeah, I got you. Now here are a bunch of cookies that you have made. And I'm telling you, girl, your cookies are a work of art. I mean, they should be in a museum.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, the newest one that I made, that I did with the turquoise truck. I mean, people are losing their minds over it, and they're so lovely. So those are the cookie cakes. The bigger round ones are the cookie cakes that I was just talking about. So I'm making cookie cakes cool, Chad.
You've got little pumpkins in the back of that truck. The Halloween one is incredible. The haunted house and the owl sitting on the tree and Snoopy popping out of a pumpkin. I mean, it's amazing.
Like the cutest.
I know. I have to ask you, how many pounds of butter do you go through in a year in your house?
You know what? I don't even know, but a lot. There's a lot of butter going through here. Butter and sugar and flour. I get the giant bags of flour from Costco and stuff because I just go through so much of it. I'm always baking, especially doing the Great American Community work. So I'm doing 2 new recipes a week. And so we're making a lot of stuff here because you have to recipe test and recipe test. It doesn't always come out. So what I do is I think of what I want to make, what ingredients I need to use. And then I just kind of tweak it from there, depending on how it turns out. So sometimes I'm throwing a lot away. And sometimes it's like one and done and it's magical. And those, it just depends on what it is I'm making. But it's a lot of trial and error because I want to make it so when people are at home and they're doing it, I've already got all the kinks worked out. I've already figured the recipe out perfectly for them. So that is my goal. And, it's just, I love it, but it's a lot. It's a lot of work. Yeah.
Now, do you also teach baking classes?
I do. I teach baking classes with William Sonoma. It has been incredible. And actually, my son Mikey and I teach kids camp in the summer. So I teach your kids how to bake, and I do we do it. Yeah, we do it like fun and lovely and interactive. And in my regular classes, one thing I always do is I always try to share in my camps too. I do this. I always try to share a little bit of history behind what it is I'm making or baking, whether it's a chocolate chip cookie or if I'm making caramel turtles. Like I always try to kind of engage with the audience that way. So you're learning how to bake, but you're also learning a little bit of historical information about what it is that we're making. So I think
Uh-huh.
that's fascinating to me. I think that's really fun. So that's something that I do add into the
I,
classes, and I'm starting to do that in my Great American Community segments as well, if it fits.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Are these classes online?
Yes,
Yeah,
they're
okay.
online classes. Yeah, during COVID, we started doing the online classes, and it has been able to reach so many other people. So we
Well,
just stuck with online.
well, how do people sign up for them?
Normally at Williams Sonoma, there's like at the bottom of the website, there will be like the classes. But if you follow
Okay.
the Hutch Oven on Instagram is me. And so
Right.
I always share in my stories or on posts when my new classes are coming up and everything. So
Okay.
we've got the Snoopy one that you see right up there. That's the kids spooktacular. And my son and I are dressing up. We dress up for our classes and stuff like that. So
Oh, cool.
yeah, so we're dressing up. He wanted to be Minnie and Mickey, and my son is 13. He's like this cool, like football player. He's super fun and charismatic. And so when he gets on and he's helping, like we're helping teach the kids, it makes them feel like, okay, this kid's cool. I can do this, you know? Um,
Yeah.
so we're
hmm
being Minnie and Mickey this year per his request. So
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Now, speaking of teaching, you're going to be teaching with Jen Lilly's Christmas is Not Canceled for the Christmas University. That's next month.
yes.
Talk about what you're going to be making or
Yes,
showing,
we are
teaching.
going to make gingerbread houses, which it's like a gingerbread house is just a Christmas essential. It's like one of those things where you can either make it and like leave it for decoration or you can eat it. I think that leaving it for decoration is really special too. So we're going to get really crafty, and I believe right after the class that I teach, they're doing a celebrity gingerbread like decorate off, you know?
Oh.
So see if Jen's got some extra special skills for my class. That will be fun to watch. But yeah, I love doing, I did work with Christmas University last year too. And it's just so wonderful what they're doing. I am such a giver. And I just believe in giving back in so many different ways. So I think that that's really
hmm
cool. And I love being a part of that.
Let's talk about the Great American Community app here. Your show is called The Sweet Life. How did you get asked to be involved in this?
Well, you know, it's just one of those things where I guess I just have made the right connections and the right relationships to where
hmm
they were like, you know what, we like her. She's the real deal. We believe in her. Let's put her. I mean, she part of the family already, right?
hmm
So,
hmm
yeah. So they had reached out and told me about this concept even before it came to fruition, and I was just like, this is incredible. I love it. I want to be a part of it. And so I mean, I just am blessed to be able to be a part of it. But yes, my segments are the Sweet Life with Emily. So you get to see a lot of recipes, but you also get to see a little bit into my life. Like a segment is coming up where me and my boys go to the pumpkin patch. So I pick out a pumpkin for Jenny, and we do every year since, like I said, her birthday is on Halloween. So I get to share parts of my life too, which is really, really cool for me.
That's nice. Yeah, some of the actors are doing that too, like Jill Wagner showing her life on the farm and things like that.
Yes, I
Yeah.
love that. And Cameron
Yeah.
with his family. And
Uh-huh.
it's so special. Yeah, really important, wonderful stuff.
Now, what days a week are your episodes released?
I'm Tuesday and Saturday. So,
Tuesday and Saturday.
yep,
Okay.
yep.
Okay. Now, did you have professional filming equipment in your house before they asked you
Oh,
to do this, or are you using your phone, or what are you using to do this?
I'm using my phone, but I also have a really, really nice camera. But and I have lights, I have everything, because I've been teaching online classes for a while. So
Oh,
I
that's
have,
true. That's true. You've
yeah,
been
so I
shooting
have.
YouTube videos. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. So, and I've been doing my own photography for years. My friend is actually a really talented photographer, and she taught me a lot. And so helped me to be able to do my own photography. And then, I can do all this stuff too. So it's really fun.
Mm-hmm. And some of the segments that are on there, those Cookie Monster cookies. Oh, they look really interesting.
Yeah, Chadwick. I mean, Chad. Is your name? Is it Chadwick or Chad? Is
No,
it
just Chad. But
just Chad?
some people call me Chadwick. I've had people in the past call me that.
Well, my friend, the one that judged Christmas cookie matchup, his name is Chadwick, and we called him
Uh-huh.
Chad. So that's probably why my brain did that.
Oh, and I have to tell you, your daughter's name is Reese, right?
Yes.
My nickname has been Reese my entire life.
I
Because when I
love
was
that.
little, I couldn't say Maurice. People would ask me what my name was. And instead of saying Chad Maurice, I would say I'm Chad Reese because I couldn't say Maurice. And so
Oh,
my family started calling me Reese.
I love that. See, the connection was there already. I love that. So the Cookie Monster cookies
Yeah.
have an Oreo stuffed
Hmm.
inside of them.
Yeah.
So it is like a double delicious, super special cookie. And,
Hmm.
they're one of our favorites. But I share tips and tricks in every single one. Every episode you watch, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, that's making my life so much easier. I never would have thought about that. Even things like preheating your oven. So
Hmm.
when your oven goes ding, most people put in their cookies, right? Or put in their baked goods because your
Hmm.
oven's preheated. Well, if you let it go an extra 10 or 15 minutes, that when after the ding, after the preheat ding, so you're
Yeah.
double preheat and you open your oven and you put all the heat escapes. Well, the longer time of the extra preheated time allows the walls of your oven to get really hot. So when you
Oh.
let that air out and then you put your cookies in, it doesn't take a lot of time to heat back up. It's already hot.
Oh. I never knew that. Okay.
Yeah, I share lots of that stuff in my episodes. So it is very informative.
Oh,
Mhm.
now the video, you did a video making Santa cookies there. And I got to tell you, you got me thinking that I need to invest in piping bags and I need to up my Christmas cookie game.
You know what? Yes, you should. You should, Chad. I would love to see that. But you know what? The cool thing is that in the Santa belly one, I'm doing a method which is called the frozen flat method. And you actually spread your buttercream and then you freeze it. And then you take a cookie cutter and you cut out your shape and then you place it on your cookie. And then basically most of the decorating is totally done for you. You just have to add the details. So I share stuff like that people are like, oh my gosh, I never would have thought of that.
Now, I saw a video that you were doing. I don't know where I saw this. You had like icing, like wrapped in saran wrap, and then you like tied a nozzle onto the end of it, and then you put like some sort of thin plastic bag over that to make a piping bag.
Okay, so
What was that?
what I actually do is, I don't know, this is something that a lot of decorators know, but piping bags. So you have your piping bag and then you have your coupler that's down in the bottom. It's a little
Mm-hmm.
plastic thing that
Mm-hmm.
attaches your piping tip to it. So you go ahead and you put your coupler in, you put your buttercream in, and then you attach your tip. And then when you're done, you have to you have to dig through buttercream to get that coupler out. And so I have a trick that if you roll so what I do is I lay a piece of plastic wrap down and I put a dollop of buttercream in the middle and then I roll it up and I call it a buttercream burrito. And then I coil one end up and then I take the other end and I put it down through my piping bag with the coupler. And then I start piping in that as an extra protectant so
Oh,
the buttercream doesn't warm up too much in your hands. But it also
oh,
makes it so if you're decorating like with your kids or something for Christmas, right? And you're worried, oh gosh, like the mess. Okay, so that buttercream burrito is going to make it so it's going to help your children so the buttercream doesn't burst out of the top of your bag. So it all stays in there. So I have so many helpful tips and tricks to bake your life easier.
make your life easier. I tried to make a piping bag, a homemade one time with a sandwich bag. I put the icing in the sandwich bag and I cut the corner of the bag And it didn't work. It didn't work very well.
If you use a really thick, like a thick freezer bag, those normally work okay. It is a little tricky because it's got a right angle rather than an angle like a piping bag would have. So the hole is going to be a little different. But I mean, it still does work. It still does work a little.
Now, you've been talking about your family. Here they all are. Here you are decorating Christmas cookies. How about your kids here? Did they inherit your baking gene?
Well, I can tell you that they are very good at decorating cookies, and they do love to bake. So my middle son, I mean my family, like I have chills right now. They are my everything. They are my biggest support. They are my biggest cheerleaders. They are amazing. Mikey is the one who loves to be on TV, and so you see him the most because he's like his mom. He just loves the camera. And my middle son Nick, no, never, does not like it. But he will bake with me. But I cannot video it. There can never be proof. And I probably shouldn't even be sharing it on the podcast, but he does love to bake. And so, and then my oldest, I've taught her so much since she was little. So with all my kids, I've really, a lot of moms are worried about the mess that they have to clean up after. But my thought process was always, these are skills that they're going to be able to use their whole entire life.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've taught my daughter to cook, to bake, all that stuff. And my boys as well. I have them come in and help me with dinners and stuff like that. Just so they can know what to do when they're on their own. Right. And then now my daughter's in college, and she was FaceTiming me the other day, and she was showing me everything that she was making for this frat thing. They were picking a sweetheart for their fraternity. And so she had made ribs and mashed potatoes and all this stuff, like things that I've taught her to make. And then she calls me and she's like, Mom, I'm the sweetheart. I got it. And I was like, yes. Like, these are things that your children are going to need to be successful. But not only that, I have found that if they're in the kitchen and they're making something that they're proud of and they can feel confident in, that gives them so much value. And then they can share it with people. And so there's so many skills that you can, carry on through your life just by being in the kitchen and learning stuff.
Do you think any of them will follow your footsteps and making a living at baking?
I don't know. My youngest tells me he's going to be a YouTuber. So I don't know if it's going to be baking or what it will be, Chad. But they're all very talented. So, I mean, every mother would just love that their kids are happy. So we'll see. You never know. You never know. But I mean, they do love it. I don't know if they love it as much as I do. And, what my grandma did with me when I was little, it might be, Chad, I might be teaching my grandchild.
Yeah.
And it might be that they might be famous for it. So
that's true. That's true. Yeah. Now, what do your kids think about having a famous mom?
They think it's weird. They think it's weird. They're like, this is really weird, because people, when they stop me in the store or, they think it's weird. And my kid, they kind of get teased a little bit. My youngest gets teased a little bit, but I'm like, you know what, honey? I was like, you're wonderful. You're amazing. They're just jealous. They just want to do the classes with us. And, that's what it always comes down to. And so they definitely think it's really cool. I know, I don't know how much they tell me they think it's cool, but they for sure think it's cool. They Google me. They think it's cool.
That's great. That's great. All right. I want to wrap up with, I have some questions that have nothing to do with the Great American Community app or anything. These are just questions so people can get to know you a little bit better.
Okay.
What is your favorite baked good or dessert to eat?
Okay, the correct answer should be cookies, because I do everything with cookies.
Yeah.
A chocolate chip cookie comes in second, but a rhubarb pie is my all-time favorite dessert ever. And I don't know if you've ever had just rhubarb pie. My grandma was famous for hers, and I replicated her pie recipe because she didn't have it written down after she passed away. And my pop said it was the best rhubarb pie he has ever had. And I was like, better than Grandma Loopy's? Okay. So it would be pie.
Pie. My next question was, what's your favorite thing to bake? Is it that pie or what?
My favorite thing to bake are cookies.
Cookies. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay.
Pie is a little harder. It's a little messier. It takes a little bit more time, but I love to bake cookies.
How did you learn to do that decorating so well? I mean, just practice and practice and practice.
I mean, 11
Yeah.
years of practice.
Yeah.
That's a lot of practice. And I can't even explain it, only that it's a God-given gift, because
Uh-huh.
it's like what I'm imagining in my head comes out in a piping bag,
Yeah.
on my canvas of a cookie. And it's so incredible. And I mean, I would just, it's just a God-given gift and a lot of practice. A lot of,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Now the holidays are coming. What's your favorite Halloween candy?
Reese's peanut butter cups, hands
Oh
down.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's mine. Yeah, that's my favorite.
You
Yeah.
know what? One
Yeah.
thing that people might not know about me, Chad, is that I'm pretty creepy for Halloween. Like we have a really scary house, because and I'm gonna bring this back to my grandma again. So my
Mhm.
grandma growing up had the most terrifying house in all of Oso, and people still talk about it today. And so, gosh, she has just rubbed off on me so much.
Oh
But I
boy.
get a little creepy. But the good thing is that if you're brave enough to come to our house, you get a full-sized Reese's. So
That I gotta tell you, that is just like my parents. When I was a kid, my parents had the neighborhood haunted house
really?
every year, and we had kids that would be afraid to come to our house to get their candy.
And then
'Cause-
those kids that are scared, and then the parents are like dragging them up.
Yep,
It's only make
yep,
believe. It's not real.
yep. We had scary music playing. My dad had a mic and speakers set up, and he would talk to the kids in a scary voice and make sound effects and all. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. That's awesome. I
My
love our
my
similarities.
mom would dress up to hand out the candy. Oh
Oh
yeah.
yes. Oh my gosh. I
Yep.
love that.
All right, candy corn, yes or no?
No, I like to decorate it. I don't love to eat it.
I know.
My sister would be like, candy corn is the best, but
Okay, let's talk Thanksgiving. Okay, pumpkin pie or apple pie?
oh, you know what? I say pumpkin pie because I have apple pie other times of the year, and pumpkin pie is really special for Thanksgiving. So for sure, pumpkin pie.
Okay, okay. What is your favorite Christmas cookie?
A sugar cookie decorated with buttercream that looks like a poinsettia flower. That is my absolute favorite. It has got the right amount of buttercream, and the sugar cookie is just like the most delicious. And it is as delicious as it is beautiful. And so that is my favorite. But my kids' favorite are the peanut butter blossoms. Do you know those ones?
Oh yeah.
With the chocolate kiss in the middle?
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
make those really well too, but that's their favorite.
So the iced sugar cookie, but it
Well,
has to
what's
look like
yours? I need
has
to
to look
know.
like a flower. Has to look like a flower,
Yeah, like a poinsettia. Yeah.
like a poinsettia.
Uh-huh.
You don't want any Santa Claus or reindeer shaped cookies,
I
right?
mean, those are fine, but if you're wondering what my favorite is, that's it.
My favorite is the little snowballs, the little white snowballs that they're just made with butter and walnuts and rolled in powdered sugar. Yeah.
Yes, wedding cookies or Russian tea cakes are
Yeah,
all.
yeah, those. Yep, yeah,
My
those. Yeah,
husband loves those. Those
uh-huh,
are a Mike favorite for sure.
yeah, yep. Well, Emily, this has been fun getting to know you.
Yes, this has been a pleasure to talk with you. I've loved every minute.
Yeah, now tell people what your social media handles are and your website and everything so they can find you.
You can find me at thehutchoven.com or the Hutch Oven on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all wonderful, really lovely, happy stuff on there. It just keeps it really light and wonderful.
And your Great American Community app show is called The Sweet Life. What days again does it drop?
Sweet Life with Emily drops on Tuesdays and Saturdays.
Tuesdays and Saturdays. Okay. Thank you so much for being here, Emily.
Thank you so much for having me, Chad.
And thank you, chatters, for being here. And until next time, you keep the faith, keep smiling, keep your friends close, and keep your great American family closer.